The final of the Club World Cup will be coming up tomorrow, between Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain in New York, United States of America. And of course, these two teams coming to this final as defending champions in Europe because Chelsea won the Conference League and Paris Saint-Germain, of course, won the UEFA Champions League in the just concluded European season. And coming into this game, I want to throw a very, very crazy number at you. Paris Saint-Germain, including games in the round of 16, quarterfinals, and the semi-finals, that is their three knockouts games so far, they have scored 10 goals against their opponents and conceded none. 0 goals conceded in 3 games, in 3 knockout games, 10 scored. And if you look at the side of the draw where Paris Saint-Germain came through, they met the likes of, yes, Inter Miami, it's a very easy one, but they had to put up with the likes of Bayern Munich and Real Madrid to get to this final. On the other hand, of course, Chelsea, after the defeat to Flamengo in the group stages, are a very, very different side. They give you minimal chances to score against them, and when they get the chances, like we saw in the game against Fluminense a couple of days ago now, when Joao Pedro, their new signing, Joao Pedro, the guy they signed from Brighton, scored 2 goals to give Chelsea a 2-0 lead, a 2-0 win, and basically with minimal chances created. Chelsea didn't create a lot of chances in that game, but they took them when they came, and they didn't give away too many chances either. So this game really, really matches up to look, it looks like a very, very good matchup between two teams that are on the rise or approaching the peak of their powers. And of course, Chelsea's team, one thing is sure going into this game, Chelsea are definitely going to give PSG a tougher game than they obviously faced against Real Madrid and perhaps against Bayern and Inter Miami. That's why perhaps it is a final worthy of the two teams. Because like I said, Chelsea's team is a lot more settled now under Maresca because pretty much the players who are going to come up in certain positions ahead of the lineup. And when the lineup drops, it pretty much looks that same way. At least we know people like Caicedo are going to play unless, remember the ankle tweak Caicedo had in their last game against Fluminense. If that injury is not a problem, he should start tomorrow. And in that midfield where PSG boost of the likes of Vitinha, Joao Neves, and Fabian Ruiz, the importance of a player who's a water carrier, if you want to call him that way, a player who will just break down opponents' counter attacks and the flow of the game, just break it down, obstruct the flow, and make sure PSG do not get into their groove. Moises Caicedo is really, really one very important player for Chelsea in that midfield battle. Enzo Fernandez as well is a very good part of that midfield, but Enzo is more of a box-to-box midfielder or a forward-going midfielder. But Caicedo, like I said, playing that water carrier role, will sit just in front of the back line of Chelsea and will be a very, very big problem for PSG to get past and break down. Of course, if you look at the wings, where PSG has the likes of Ousmane Dembele, Vichak Kvaratskhelia, or Desire Doué, switching among themselves between that very, very fluid front line, well, the likes of Marc Cucurella, his ability to run and run and run and make life very, very tough for opponents will be very, very important, especially if he comes up against the likes of Desire Doué, who play most likely on the right-hand side, or Ashraf Hakimi. Ashraf Hakimi, yes, he is a wing-back or a full-back, just like Nuno Mendes. The two of them play such important roles for Paris Saint-Germain that they could just be match winners in any game. We've seen PSG, winning games this year where Ashraf Hakimi or Nuno Mendes has just been unplayable, and they've been the reason why PSG wins games. And if you look across that Paris Saint-Germain team, there's so many players that could hurt you by scoring goals. I mean, you look across the front line, Dembele is the chief scorer of the team, but then there are so many of them in that team that could switch positions and swap between themselves. I haven't even mentioned Gonzalo Ramos, who scored, of course, the last goal against Real Madrid in the last game, the fourth. So PSG's team have so many players who can hurt you, like I said, and the presence of Cucurella doing a good job on that left-hand side of Chelsea's defense could be very, very important against a marauding fullback in the likes of Ashraf Hakimi. And then, of course, you look across the other wing, is James might start, or Malo Gusto might continue to play in that position. Whoever plays there will also have a very, very big job on their hands, not just only with Vichak Kvaratskhelia, who we already know is a very big problem for any team, but also with Nuno Mendes. And then if you look at the Chelsea side going forward, Joao Pedro, obviously, the man of fire over the last few games. Played his first game for Chelsea off the bench. Started his first game in the semi-finals against Fluminense and scored 2 goals against his boyhood club. He is a man in form. He is a man full of confidence. So that could pose a problem for a PSG defense that are lacking, for me, one of the most important players in that team, William Pacho. William Pacho was sent off in the quarterfinals against Bayern alongside Lucas Hernandez. But I think Pacho will be a bigger miss than Hernandez will ever be for Paris Saint-Germain's defense. Because Pacho, alongside Marquinhos, have been absolutely impeccable. But now without him, Lucas Berardo comes in. Lucas Berardo is good. But then, of course, I wouldn't judge Lucas Berardo's performance against Real Madrid because Real Madrid basically posed no threat whatsoever to that Paris Saint-Germain backline. So this game has a lot of intrigue to it. I haven't even mentioned the fact that, Cole Palmer, who is there, the chief creator for Chelsea, is also in that team and could do wonders tomorrow. So generally, a game that looks like a lot hanging on it. Of course, if you stand the chance of winning 100 million euros, or approximately 100 million euros by winning that game, there's obviously a lot hanging on it. But then, in terms of tactics, pride, and most importantly, having that silverware to be the first ever team to win the reformed Club World Cup trophy will be such a big thing. So I can't wait. I want to get your predictions. Who do you think will come out victorious in that game? Who do you think will become the new champions of the world after that final game tomorrow? Hit me up in the comment section and let me see what you think. Thank you so much. As always, this is the Top Corner. Thank you.